Hello, welcome back to this channel. It's been a little while. I haven't filmed anything because I've started back at university and it's been a busy time. So apologies for that, but I am going to try and film more regularly and have things uploaded so that you can have more videos from me, I guess. I thought that today I would, well, obviously I'm trying to speak softly because it seems that that's the sort of speaking that is liked the most. I mean, it's quite difficult, but yeah, I'm trying. So I'm gonna do a little soft-spoken ramble about what I have read recently. A very loose definition of recently, because this is honestly stuff that I read from the start of summer to now. So, but that's how long I've been gone. So yeah, we're gonna do a ramble on that, and I've got a few that I really enjoyed. It was a good summer for reading, and two of them are course books that I have to read for my English course that I'm doing this semester. So there's a mixture of things that were just very fun reads and things that are more, reading them because they were prescribed. So the first one is Middlemarch by George Eliot. This is the first book that I have to read for my course. It is, as you can see, a huge book. It is, well, it's meant to be about 800 pages, I think, or over 800 pages. And this copy, because it's a Wordsworth classic and the font is absolutely tiny, as you can see, it's really, really small. This only comes to about under 700 pages, so yeah, it would be a bit bigger if you didn't have tiny font, but I really like flicking through the pages of this because it's so, the pages are so thin and floppy because of how big the book is. So it's I started reading it on my Kindle, on my Kindle and on the Kindle app, but I just found that it was way too much of a dense book and one that I wanted to annotate and write down some things about it. So I ordered this copy. I already have a copy that's not this small, the font isn't this small, but I was back home and with my family and I wanted to read it in physical copy, so I bought just a very cheap one on World of Books and for like £3, and so I got this. But yeah, it is a very big book. It is probably one of the most famous classics ever, and probably her most famous work. It was a really, really daunting book to start because you're like, oh my god, I know I have to read this because it's on my course from university, but also I hope I enjoy it because it's so long. I think it was published in 1871. I'm pretty sure that's right. Let me just check. trying to find. I think that's correct. If I'm not right, then I'm not right. You can check it, but around that time. So it's 1871, but it's set in just before 1832, I think. So like in the 10 years before the Reform Act of 1832. So it's a very political novel. Set in Middlemarch, which is a provincial town in the north of England, and it's basically about normal people and ordinary lives, and the impact of ordinary lives of individual people. It's not plot heavy. It's very, very observational, and there's, if you're wanting a book that has, or even a classic, even for a classic, it is not plot heavy, and for a classic that is this size, hardly anything goes on. But it's amazing in terms of its characters. It's so well thought out. I mean, I can't actually imagine how you write something this long, but this good as well. So it was a bit of a slog at times, I'm not gonna lie, and it didn't blow me away. Like, it's not really my type of book, just because I don't like, I mean, not that I don't like Victorian literature, but it's very dense, and I don't know, I'm not a massive fan of the style of writing, but because it's so big, I got so immersed in it, and the characters really came alive because of the observations she made and the things she pointed out about them, that she made them so three-dimensional that you really could get invested because you felt like you were reading real people's lives. I mean, the writing is beautiful, there's no doubt about that. It's just not something that I don't think I felt like it changed me or like anything like that. Not sound like pretentious, but there's some books that you're like, wow, that was really, I've taken something amazing away from that, and I feel like this is a perfect book. Where I don't know whether this had that effect on me, but I can see why, and I can see why people. Sorry if I'm speaking fast, by the way, but I can see why people say this is their favourite book, and I can also see why people say they don't like it. So yeah, we're studying this at the moment because it's the first text that we have to read, and yeah, it was enjoyable. It was good. It had an amazing last line, and I think it made me think a lot about looking after your little part of the world, and that the space you inhabit does matter, and your intentions, the way you want to live, how you treat other people, even though it may not affect things on a global level, it affects the people in your life and it affects you, and that does matter. So yeah, very interesting book, a lot of great themes, and I think it will be very interesting to study more, and it's already interesting to study. Like, I really enjoyed the seminar I had on it, so yeah, that's Middlemarch. I really, really like the way the pages sound. It's just satisfying to flick through them. So yeah, Middlemarch, George Eliot. Honestly, that took me about 3 months to read, so it was, a project, but I got there. The next one is another book from my course, but I absolutely loved this. It's Madame Bovary by Gustave Flaubert. If I'm saying that right, I don't know. As you can see, I'm I'm going to write about this for my first assessment, and I really liked it, and I really liked the themes in this, and also it was a really readable text for such a classic. It was great, and I had a great time reading it, and I think this is one of my favourite books now. I love the character. So well, I'll read you the back. Emma Bovary is beautiful and bored, trapped in her marriage to a mediocre doctor and stifled by the banality of provincial life. An ardent devourer of sentimental novels, she longs for passion and seeks escape in fantasies of high romance, in voracious spending, and eventually in adultery. But even her affairs bring her disappointment, and when real life continues to fail to live up to her romantic expectations, the consequences are devastating. So yeah, it's basically about this this doctor called Charles Bovary, and his first wife dies, and then he marries this girl who lives on a farm with her father, Emma, and I love her character. She is so, I mean, for a novel of this time, like I think this is before, when was it first written? Before 1900, I think. God, I can never find where they actually, I don't know, I mean that's something I should know, but yeah, anyway, it's for a novel of the time, it's completely different to Middlemarch, and it's so 1857. Oh wow, I didn't realise it was earlier than Middlemarch. Wow, that's, yeah, you wouldn't think that. By the way, I mean, here's a translation, and sometimes I think that translations, because it's the nature of being a translation, I think sometimes that makes it easier to read, because, you know, there's always things lost in translation. It's never like the direct meaning is kind of lost a little bit, because it was written in one language and certain words have a meaning that you just can't translate, I guess. But it was so readable, so enjoyable. Emma Bovary basically gets bored living the life she's living with this doctor who, you know, they have money but they're not well off, and she basically seeks adultery, and she lives in her fantasies, and it is a fascinating book, and it's such a great female character, I think, because she's so complex, really. Like she has very differing sort of parts of her character, and it's hard to say whether she's totally a bad person or not, even though she commits some really, you know, bad acts. She's complicated, and I love the way it was written. You really get across this kind of fantasy she has, and she just wants to feel something, and she's just completely overtaken by lust and anger, and it's really, I think it really shows, you know, women stuck in marriages like this at the time, or not able to work and to have something to do, really, kind of resulted in this sort of looking to novels and books for an unrealistic and gaining an unrealistic sort of view on life. So yeah, I'm going to write an essay on this, and I'm very excited to write about it because I loved it. I read it in less than a week, which for me is quite quick for a classic, because some of them are hard to get through. And it was great, and you just finish it not really knowing who were the moral characters and who weren't. And it's a very realistic book in a sense. There's some of the writing isn't very realist, but it's very, you know, it ends how you think real life does actually play out. And I'm sort of going through and highlighting like little passages and things that I think relate to the question that I'm going to do. So yeah, this was great book. I had heard, well, when I looked it up, and obviously this is why you should never trust Goodreads and reviews, because everyone is so different and has different taste, but when I looked it up I wasn't really expecting to love it as much, because I thought that, like, people were saying it was very dry, very boring to get through, very hard to get through, but I just completely disagreed, and it's totally my type of thing and I loved it. So there we go. I don't know what that says about me, to be honest, that I love this book about her having affairs and being a terrible person, but it was very fun. I think I loved how much I could see that it was probably very what's the word, very defiant, like, for the time, and very, like, provocative. Yeah, because she's just so, like, the antithesis, kind of the woman staying at home and being good and being a good wife, and, you know, she kind of has these aspects to her character that a normal person actually would have, but I don't think were very well represented at the time in literature. Okay, so these two books, I got the works were having like a 3 for £6 or something, which is great, and I was like, I wanted some easier books to get into, so the first one is The Housemaid by Fadden. I honestly tore through this in like a day and a half. It is about a woman who has just gotten out of prison for committing a crime, not quite a bad crime, but, you know, her motive for doing it, you can kind of see some sort of, you can have sympathy for her in a way. She's desperate for a job, and this job comes up with this family to be the housemaid, and basically all sorts of weird stuff starts happening, and it takes a complete twist that honestly I wasn't seeing coming. I didn't see it coming, but I don't know whether that's just because I'm not usually a reader of what are these called? Mystery, thriller. So I'm not usually a thriller reader, so honestly it was great for me, because I was completely taken by it, and I just loved it. I was so, you know, along for the ride kind of thing. Yeah, I thought it was great. It was really really engaging. I was just like completely gripped from the onset, and I really enjoyed the characters. But one thing I sort of didn't like was the fact that the chapters were really short, and that can be nice because you feel like you're getting through the book really quickly and it kind of keeps your attention, but I thought they were a little short. Like, I was just getting into a chapter and then it would stop, so that was kind of something that I didn't like. But, you know, gotta take, you know, sorry, there's a really loud car outside. Yeah, you gotta take it for what it is. It's like, I don't think it's meant to be analysed like that, you know. It's just enjoyable reading. Yeah, it was great. I thought, didn't see the twist coming. Maybe I am just bad at predicting these things, and I'm quite a gullible reader, I guess. But yeah, I didn't see it coming. And I thought it was quite a unique concept. I mean, I've definitely seen this done before, but I don't know, I liked it. It was fun, it was good, and a real sort of, like, you know, if you want to get into reading or get back into reading, and we've had books you have to read for something, or books that aren't as engaging, this was a very good one to pick up, because it was just so fast paced and you were just gripped and you were excited to read it, which is always very good. So yeah, that is The Housemaid, Freedom Fadden. I think she's got lots of like thriller books. I got another one of hers that I haven't read yet, but I picked a few up, and maybe I'll continue to, but after these two I needed a break, so I did get the sequel, which is The Housemaid's Secret. Honestly, this kind of killed it for me. I didn't see the need to have more. I think that the book on its own was a great idea and it could have stopped there. But in this one, she sort of, it basically becomes, well, like, she has this career as being like I'll help you out if you have an abusive husband, which, yeah, I can see, how you could make a sequel, but it just didn't work for me, and I wasn't as captivated because I'd just read it before, I'd seen it before, so I didn't enjoy it as much. I didn't think it needed another one. I only got it because, yeah, like I said, 3 for £6, and I thought, well, I'll get the second one, but yeah, a little bit of a waste of time, honestly. Didn't really enjoy it. She basically just has to do the same thing, really. Yeah, I don't know. I think sometimes, it's good to know when to just like leave it, stop it there. Yeah, there was just, I didn't find it original. I think, if you're going to do a sequel, you could probably make it a little bit more, make it more different in a way, and make it more different. Just change it up, it was different characters and different people, and there was only like one or two characters who were the same, but I just was not hooked in the same way. So yeah, only one of those out of the 4 I didn't really like, but it was good reading anyway. Just stuff to get into the kind of mood of reading, and so all the books I have. There were a few, like, obviously I read a few more over summer, but those were the main ones and the ones I've read most recently. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry if I spoke fast. I like talking about books, and yeah, especially ones that I enjoyed. So yeah, I hope you liked the video and found it relaxing in some way, and I should be back soon with more. I'm trying to come up with lots of different video ideas, but actually filming them, sometimes I'm like, I'm tired from uni or something, so, but I will try. So yeah, that's all I've got. Thank you for watching.